So, welcome back, dear students, to the second part of our lecture. In the previous section, we covered research objectives, secondary data, primary research design, and the introduction to qualitative research. Now, we will go deeper into the qualitative research and understand how it is conducted, why it is used, and how the marketers interpret the findings. So, the qualitative research is one of the most powerful tools for understanding the consumers, because the human behavior is, you can say, as if we are humans, we are a bit emotional. Human behavior is emotional, psychological, and deeply influenced by the personal experiences. Numbers can tell us the patterns, but they cannot tell us the story behind these patterns. For example, if you discover that the consumers are not returning to your shop, a simple percentage cannot explain the personal experiences of consumers and why they are not interested to return after their first visit. So, you need conversations to understand them. That is where the qualitative research comes in. One of the most common forms of qualitative research is the in-depth interview, and here the researchers sits one on one with the participants and explores their feelings, explore their experiences and opinions through an open-ended questions. The overall environment of an interview is relaxed and conversational. The purpose is not to test the consumer but to understand the consumer more deeply. The researcher encourages the consumer to talk freely, gives them space to express their thoughts, and listens actively to them. Through this process, the researchers basically uncovers the insights that would never appear in a numerical survey. For example, a consumer might reveal that they liked the taste of your coffee, but they felt a little uncomfortable while sitting at your shop because the staff looked unwelcoming, or someone might stay and they found that the interior is too bright or the seating is too much crowded. These stories help you understand what really matters. Another popular method is the focus group discussions, and in the focus group, the researcher gathers 6 to 12 participants and engages them in a very guided conversation. So, the advantage of a focus group is that the participants interact with one another, express their opinions, and build on one another other ideas. This creates a dynamic environment full of rich insights. Sometimes the people remember the experiences while listening to others, and sometimes they agree or disagree, whatever, which helps the researcher understand different perspectives of consumer behavior. A focus group is especially useful when you talk and test, when you want to test the new ideas, new products, new advertisements, and maybe new packaging designs. Besides the interviews, the focus group, which is a qualitative research technique, also includes observational techniques, and the observation means that watching consumers in their natural environment without any interference. For example, you might watch how the consumers behave inside your cafe. Do they look confused while ordering, or do they hesitate before entering? Do they spend time deciding which table to sit on, or observing the real behavior often reveals the insights that the consumer themselves may not be able to explain verbally. This is where the observation technique helps us. Another interesting qualitative research technique is ethnography. And in ethnography, the researcher basically immerses themselves in an environment of the consumer. They observe how the consumers are living in a certain particular place, how they behave, buy, and interact with the real life situations. It is more deeper, longer, and more natural form of observation. Companies often use ethnography when they want to understand lifestyle behaviors, mutual patterns, and natural habits that influence the purchasing decisions. There are also some other projective techniques used in the qualitative research. Sometimes the consumers are not comfortable in sharing their feelings directly. So, they may feel shy or they might not be aware of their own emotions. In projective techniques, the researcher uses indirect prompts such as pictures, stories, incomplete sentences, or imaginary situations. And these techniques will help the customers to project their feelings unconsciously. For example, if you show a picture to the picture of a cafe with with a sad customer, people may discuss what they think is wrong, revealing their own expectations about that particular cafe and their whatever the hidden concerns they have in their mind. While the qualitative research provides you richer insights, it is also important to acknowledge that it involves the smaller samples. Basically, the findings are deep, but in most of the cases such findings cannot be generalized to the entire population with the same you can say confidence as we do in quantitative research. So, the purpose of qualitative research is you can say discovery, exploration, and understanding the motives, not mirroring the statistics of what we used to do in quantitative research. It helps you to discover why behind the behavior of the consumer, which is often the most valuable part uh, to uncover in consumer research. Now that we have understood the qualitative research in more detail, let us connect all the parts of consumer research process together. Consumer research typically begins with a clear problem or opportunity. Then the researcher develops precise research objectives. They collect secondary data to understand the background. They refine their objectives and avoid the unnecessary work. And after that, they will design primary research and choosing between the qualitative and quantitative methods. Okay, and depending upon these their needs, they will decide what to do. And once the data is collected and analyzed and interpreted, the business uses these insights to make wise and fair decisions. For example, if your coffee shop reveals that the consumers feel uncomfortable because the staff lacks friendliness, you can invest in staff training. If the consumers feel that the environment is a bit overcrowded, you can rearrange the seating arrangements and do them in a better way. And if the consumer feels that the menu is so confusing, you can redesign it at least. These changes are guided by the research. When the businesses acts on research findings, the consumer satisfaction improves and the loyalty will increase, and the sales will definitely grow. So, the consumer research is not just something that the businesses do occasionally, it is a continuous evolving process that we need to do. So, the consumer preferences, as you know, consumer preferences also evolve and change. So, the market trends shift and competitors innovate, and now the technologies emerge. Businesses must stay updated through the regular research to remain relevant. By understanding our consumers deeply, the marketers can design better products, they can improve services, and they can develop effective communication strategies and build strong long term relationship with the customers. Here I conclude the part 2 of our lecture. This was all consumer research process I have explained to you along with the example. So in our next lecture we will be back with an other agenda. Till then, take good care of yourself and Allah Hafiz.